Look, I know you guys are going to roast me in the comments, but come on. Abrams came out in 1980. Everyone knows that historical fact. Abrams came out in 1980. So the uniform we are wearing is actually representative of this tank because, well, this specific variant we're looking at today is actually M1A2. So I'm just blown away to get to have this experience, guys. So shout out to 2nd Brigade here at 3rd Infantry Division. They let us use their M1A2 for today to do a little bit of filming. We know the turrets traverse around. We're going to get a shot of another vehicle later that has the turret turned around, so y'all can look at it kind of both ways. Because right now, I think she's in travel log, so we'll give a look at that here in a minute. But with that, let's get into the development of the Abrams. Started roughly around 1976. So the Abrams was developed about around 1976. So there were prototypes made by General Motors and Chrysler. I believe it was actually General Motors that won the contract for it, and that is what you saw develop into the actual basic nomenclature M1 Abrams that we see rolling around the streets in 1980s Cold War kind of time frame. So that's the history of the development of this. Combat-wise, she's a tested machine. So the M1, specifically the M1A1, the M1A2, they have a reputable Cold War service history. So they were on the borders of Germany as early as 1980. You would see the early ones rolling around with just a 105. In this case, these have the 120 because it is the M1A2 SEP B3. So you would see these rolling around in Germany in the 1980s. They still go to Germany nowadays, but they were on the Cold War front since basically since 1980. So these were here when the Berlin Wall fell, but their first reputable service came in 1991 during the Gulf War, when the first invasion, specifically the Battle of 73 Easting, started in February of 91. They had a mix of M1A2s, M1A1s, original Abrams, and there even saw some patent tanks still around there. The good old M60A3 were still there in rolling around there. So I believe, I don't know off the top of my head, but I know during the engagement of 73 Easting, the Abrams tank knocked out, is accredited with at least 300 kills because they just rolled in and raised hell. Basically, they knocked out armored fighting vehicles, they knocked out T-72s, T-64s, Type 59s. Basically, any enemy Cold War tank that you can think of, this thing sliced open like a can of baked beans. Because it's got that powerful depleted uranium APF-SDS armor-piercing, fin-stabilized discarding sabot round, and also has a heat round, the high explosive anti-tank, that you can use to mark center for marking target and stuff like that. And then you switch to sabot, you're going to peel open a tank just like it's nothing. So that was the first time that they saw action, was in the Gulf War in 1991. After that, they kind of served again. Cold War was over in 91. It officially ended in 91. So now they went to the global front with the war on terrorism, all that stuff. I don't think any of these were deployed to like the terrorists or the little supercell, little secret Delta shit that was going on in the 90s happened, but none of these were really deployed in the late 90s. You get the 2001 and 2003 though, famous Thunder Run in Iraq. You would see the M1A2 rolling around in the Tusk Urban Survival Kit. So the Tactical Urban Survival Kit is what the Tusk stands for. You would see these rolling around basically during the invasion of Iraq doing the Thunder Run, and they remained in Iraq till I would say roughly about 2007, 2008 is when they started pulling more of the tanks out. So you didn't see them too much after the 2000s. But this is a tested machine. You could call in, let's say you're in Fallujah and you've got Marines house fighting, like, hey, we need you to knock the shit out of this building. Call in an Abrams. This thing will knock the thing down. So that's kind of the reputable history of the Abrams. Everyone knows that it's still a tried and tested machine, and everyone wonders how would it do if it did go against modern tanks of today, such as the T-14 Armada, which, let's be honest, they're not doing well in Ukraine, so this thing will win. I'll put my money on it. All right, so that does it for the history. We're gonna hop into the tour of the vehicle. All right, so looking at the bumper markings, they have been standard since probably about World War II. We're looking at it. So Charlie Rock, first platoon, second vehicle. All right, so 1, 2. And then you got 315th Infantry, 3rd Infantry Division. Basically, the 3rd Infantry calls, they keep the infantry division name because of our stoic history, but it's really an armored division. honestly, at this point. So, hopping in the front here, you got the front drive lights right here. You're gonna have blackout markers on top here with their bush guards right here. And you got high bolt lifting plugs for towing on a rail and tying down. The armor on this is classified, so we can't really tell you what it is. So all we really know is that it's about 120 millimeters thick of steel, but then you have composite-based armor on the inside with the, let's say with depleted uranium inside. So it'll stop some. So that's basically the armor profile up front, and you see it's very sloped, so it's going to deflect rounds. You're looking at about probably 20, 30 degree slope for armor effectiveness. You've got driver's hatch up front right here. Front fenders, the bumper markings are down here. That is standard with Abrams. On other tanks like you see on the old M60s and stuff, they would have it more here on the side panels. We're not looking at the front of the turret, so right now we're looking at the back. So we got the bustle rack right here for basically tie down any equipment, stowage, anything like that. You got your combo equipment you can see on the top. You got the radio antennas. Radio will be down inside. Got your front track links, and you got tie downs down here as well. That's pretty much all there is really to say about the front. And yes, I get the question all the time on these vehicles. Yes, those are little tiny windshield wipers for the driver to see outside of if you want to get a shot of that. All right, so hopping onto the turret right here, we already looked at the bustle rack. Basically, the crew can put all any of their equipment or anything that they want on there. They can store extra ammo, put their bags, any kind of stuff on here. Right here we have the VCSU, the vertical compression system unit. Basically takes out all the toxic fumes and all that stuff to help ventilate the crew. You have the two combo antennas right here. The radios will be in the back of the turret so that they can have comms with anybody. Where I am standing is what is known as the blow-up panels. So basically if they were to take an ammo rack hit, basically just these would explode, the fire would come out top, the crew would be okay because they would close the panel door. So it would basically save the lives of the crew if they were to get hit in the ammo rack. You got side bustle racks on the side of the turret. If you look at the older Abrams, so the M1, they would not have the bustle rack, they wouldn't have this, they wouldn't have the side panels. They would only have the side panels. Basically, you just chop this off at the back of the turret, and that's what the original Abrams would look like. All right, so moving up here a little bit, where the cameraman is standing, that is the commander's hatch. He's got his direct vision slits here, basically made of ballistic glass, as they call bulletproof, quote unquote, but we all know how that goes. You have the crow system here that would have a M2 50 caliber machine gun. Basic commander has commander override on the inside. He could take a switch, either take control of the crow system and take control of the turret. The gunner will also have a switch for it as well. Off to the left, you have the loader's hatch. Loader will sit right here. He has his periscope. He has an M240, usually a Hotel or Bravo machine gun. That'll sit up here with ballistic glass for him as well. The Abrams has two different really main types of ammo that uses heat, so high explosive armor, high explosive anti-tank, and then APFSDS, arm piercing fin stabilized discarding sabot, which is basically their depleted uranium round that's like a depleted uranium dart that can penetrate through pretty much anything that they need to. So, commander's hatch, loader's hatch right there. This is extra sight for the gunner right here, kind of like thermals right here. Also off to the right, in front of the commander, that is where the gunner will sit, and those are that is the gunner's optics right there. This little panel right here is the gunner's sight. Up to the front, the crew has an extra road wheel in case you break the wheel or break track. You got an extra wheel just in case to be on there. On the front, you have that signature angular shaped turret made of, I think they call it chobum, or basically just depleted uranium armor, depleted uranium inserts, and rolled homogeneous armor. So a whole kind of mix of classified armor we're not supposed to know about. Then you got the gun mantlet right here. You have the M256 120mm cannon. Big thick boy, knock something out. And right here will be your 240 Hotel or 240 Bravo machine gun will be shot out through here. The gunner's optics for the Abrams are here and there. So that pretty much does it for the turret. With that, we're gonna hop down on the side, get to the side of the vehicle. All right, I'm getting hot, so I'm taking this thing off. Yes, I changed my hair. Okay, so we're getting to the side profile of the tank here. Again, classified armor we're not supposed to know about 75 millimeters on the side of just the regular steel armor, but then you have all the depleted uranium, chobum, all that fun stuff, the composite armor on the side. If they wanted to, if they were deployed or something like that, they could put a tactical urban survival kit on this. The Tusk would basically add ERA armor on the side, explosive reactive armor, just to help against RPGs and basically against chemical rounds. So that's what they would do right here. These panels can be opened up to give crew access to the track if they break track or need to fix something. It'll go in here. You have main road wheels down here, torsion bar suspension system with support wheels, and just like the classic main battle tank doctrine, you have the drive sprocket in the back, and the front support wheel in the front, just like we see starting at like the M24 Chaffee at the end of World War II. On the side of the turret, you have an ammunition storage box, you have a bustle rack. They can hang their equipment or anything they want on the side of it, just like that. Extra track lengths at the crew brake track. Steel cable for towing, so they can tow their own vehicles, tow themselves, whatever they need to tow. They have a steel tow cable there. Right here you got a storage bustle right here. Basically the crew can just put personal belongings, extra BI and stuff in there for the side. The back then pretty much does it for the side. With that we'll hop into the back. All right, so hopping right into the back, we're looking at the back here. So you have arm bolt lifting plugs on the back right here, basically for towing, rail, all that stuff. A little smaller ones right here. Still feel the engine's hot on this one because they just actually drove this one back. So this has a gasoline turbine engine with just a little over 1,000 horsepower. So yes, that means what they call it is quote unquote a fast boy because it can do, the governor limit is 42 miles per hour, but if you take off the no fun switch, you could be hitting 70 probably, or you could drive down the highway in this thing. So put it that way. So yeah, that is access to your engine back here. These are basically the exhaust and the engine panels back here. You have doors down there to access. You have the tow pins on the back and a whole bunch of arm bolt lifting plugs and tow hooks down here, and the rear fenders with the. All right, so we were looking at the back panels here. This is the panels to access the engine. You have a bunch of iron bolt lifting plugs and tow hooks down here. You got the big old tow pintle right there, track links, and underneath there will be an escape hatch. You can't see that right now though. But right here, the good old talk box. So basically infantry can stand back here, talk to the tank commander from the inside. The cable feeds directly into there. Commander can hear what's going on. They say, hey, shift your fire right. They can basically adjust target as need be. So that pretty much does it for the back, you guys. Not too much else to cover. We saw the engine deck. Not too much to cover. As I said before, you also got a couple extra stowage panels back here as well and access to the engine. So that does it for the back, you guys. Guys, thank you for tuning in to episode 26 of Tank Chats. Today we looked at the M1A2 SEP 3 Abrams. Really nice treat to actually take a look at one of these. These are obviously still in active service. You can see them right here, right now. Yeah. Anyway, been in service since 1980. Abrams still continues to see service. As you guys have probably seen if you watch the news, the Abrams X is supposedly be a fear-monger in the hearts and minds of everybody around the world. So, give this baby some love. We'll get out of here.